And welcome back. We took a couple weeks off, not
Yeah,
our design or anything, but we are
so
here.
a few weird weeks, a
Yeah,
couple games here and there, a couple games 1 week,
I
it was just
mean, it's a long season, so
yeah,
we're here when it matters, and it matters now. It's the playoffs. I tried to draw a little like bracket
yeah,
behind me. As you can see, I'm not much of an artist. I'm not much of a
mhm,
thinker either, because I didn't figure that it just like wouldn't show up right on the
mhm,
webcam. But here we are. It's playoff time. Playoffs round one, 8 and 9 versus 7 and 10. How was
yeah.
the end of your regular season, Brian?
It feels like we haven't played in forever because we had the Bullworms didn't show up the last 2 weeks, so we didn't get to
Hmm.
play them. We scrimmaged the Pizza Roll, so that really wasn't really a game. And then the
Hmm.
last game I think we actually played was against the Halfway Crooks in week 6 or 7.
Oh
So
wow! So you guys must be cold.
I mean, we've still been getting in the gym, utilizing our time just to make sure we still are getting reps up and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's going to be interesting first round for us, but we can definitely break down the first round games this week before we get to that. But yeah,
yeah. So we have for the first round games, we have number 7 and number 10. We have the Boston Blazers taking on the Pizza Rolls. And a couple weeks ago, last time we did this podcast, if you told me the Blazers would be in the bottom four, I wouldn't have agreed with you.
yeah, I think you look at um, you look at the standings. Obviously, there have to be 4 teams in the bottom four,
Yeah.
and there was really only it looked like 3 teams that were locked into that bottom four.
Thanks.
So I mean, not
No, no.
when we get to you guys, I'll have some good things to say about you guys because I've been very impressed with how you guys have been playing. But
Appreciate it.
um, yeah, I mean, it was either us, the Skyhookers, if they slipped a little bit, they could have fallen in, or even it was either us, Skyhookers, or Blazers that were going to fall into that bottom four, despite being a pretty good regular season team.
Yeah,
So
and I feel like each team outside of that bottom four really has one dominant strength. I mean, the Skyhookers, their strength is their size. You guys
mhm,
have a really good backcourt with
mhm,
Gino, you, and Dave. You
yeah,
look at Boom, I mean, they're a really good team. That's Boom. Their strength is
yeah,
probably their shooting, I would have to say.
I think their size now too with Sweeney.
Yeah, with now they have two bigs, which is tough. But you look at the Blazers, and they're a good shooting team. I mean, they have Strickland,
Yeah,
who's a very good shooter, and they're a big team, but they don't have this one category that like just
mhm,
blows your mind. Like the
yeah,
Skyhookers are over dominant with their height. The
mhm,
I mean, Boom is over dominant with their shooting. If you take in Lucas and Belleville,
mhm,
they put up an
yeah,
insane volume of shots and they score a really, really big volume of points, halfway in their size. I mean, like I said, with you guys in your backcourt, Gino's had probably his best season yet.
mhm.
Everybody's got that one thing that stands out. I haven't really seen that with the Blazers.
Yeah, I think they kind of struggle to find their identity in this league. Um,
Hmm.
but that being said, they're still a 4-5 team,
Yeah,
and they had a pretty good season when you talk about first year teams. It's
yeah,
tough to come into this league, especially at this point where we're in our 4th season, and go 4-5 unless you have like a dominant force like they do. I
hmm,
like you were saying they should. But Corey Strickland's a great player, and they have like a good complement of other players along with him that help make them pretty much a really solid team. Like I said, there's no dominant strength, but as a team, I think they're just really solid.
yeah, and I agree. They are solid. They're ranked seventh. They're easily the best of the last four, if
Yeah,
that makes sense. But yeah, they are. I mean, and Strickland's one of the better players I would think in the league. One of the better shooters if you
yeah,
look at the volume of shots he takes and the volume of jumpers he makes, and he's just a very high percentage shooter. A lot of his looks are good looks. He's a team player, and they started coming around as a team too. I know they started slow
yeah,
and they were kind of riding on him, but now I mean, in their last game, they had I think three or four guys in double figures, and they were
yeah.
playing
I'm looking at
pizza
their
rolls.
stats for the
Yeah.
season right now. Corey Strickland averages 19 points per game, and they have 3 other guys who average over 10 points per game, and one guy who averages 9.9 points per game. So their scoring is really balanced. They have a lot of ways they can beat you. Strickland mainly from the three. He hit 24 threes on 43% shooting.
Yep.
And then, I mean, you look at them as a free throw shooting team, they're pretty much average. Everyone puts around 50% from the free throw line. Um, but yeah, Evan St. Pierre, he's also kind of their second leader. Um, he's been huge for them for these past few weeks.
I'd say Aid Wright too, out of the backcourt.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. And then even look at guys like Terrence Gallo. He can jump out the building, even though I only averages 5 points per game. So they're not a team to sleep on for sure. And just them being in the bottom four doesn't mean that they're any different than anyone in the top six, I feel like.
Yeah, and they had just beaten the Pizza Rolls, I think, in their last week, and now they play them
week 9.
again in the rematch.
Yeah, so I'm taking the Blazers in this one.
Yes.
I think you are as well.
Yes, no doubt. And that just brings the question of how do the Blazers match up with the halfway Crooks? And if you go back to the game that they played them, it was a very tight one, if I'm not mistaken, until I think halfway ran away with it a little bit in the second half. But it was a tight game, and Strickland, I don't even think Strickland scored that much.
I'm trying to find it. But yeah, I do remember it being a close game.
Because they have the size to match up with halfway. With St. Pierre's a very similar player.
Yeah, it was technically week 9, so it wasn't like the makeup week. Halfway won 76-67, and they took over in the second quarter. It's from what it looks like 27-9 in the second quarter. But Brett Cody had 29 points on the Blazers end. Aid Bright had 21 points. I don't think.
Did Strickland? Yeah, Strickland wasn't even there. I actually remember that. Because so that's going to be a very good. That's a storyline we didn't even catch on. They played before. It was a close game, and they didn't even have their best player.
Yeah, so that was something to look forward to in round 2. But yeah, I think Blazers take this one easily. If we're giving the Pizza Rolls a spread, I don't know what you're looking at for this one. I would say like 20 points.
I'd say 23.5.
Yeah.
And the money line would be like 600.
I think even at 23.5, I think the Blazers might cover that.
Yeah, I mean, but you never know because the Pizza Rolls have played some tight games. For whatever
they've shown glimpses, but I think the Blazers' size is just a bad matchup for them.
Size is so much in this league.
Yeah,
it really is, and I think the Blazers with their size, I think that's why they match up so well against halfway in the. That's not the semis though. That's the quarters, right?
Yeah, that would be the quarters.
That would be the quarterfinals. So yeah, that's what we'll preview today. We'll get through the first round, and then we'll preview the quarterfinal matchups based on what we think they are. So moving on to the next one. If you can read backwards, you have number 8 Duyes versus number 9 Worms to play Lob City, the number 1 seed. So you're really the end's coming somewhere.
Yeah, and I know you guys. I think actually the Duyes boys tweeted. It was basically like they're saying it's the same thing as like one of the play-in games in the NCAA tournament where the winner plays like the 2 16 seeds play, and then the winner plays the 1 seed type deal.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I think it is kind of like that. But one thing I'll say about the Duyes boys that I've been meaning to say is that even though they're 2-7, they certainly over the past few weeks have not looked like a 2-7 team, in my opinion. It's been a matter of closing out games.
Yes.
And just being in them has been huge for you guys because eventually you're going to figure it out and you guys are going to be able to close out these games. And I think playing a play-in game actually will help because you guys will be able to feel like that sense of winning again and have a little more confidence you would going into a game against potentially Lob than if you just came in as like an 8 seed and had to play them with no game before that was really a winnable game, you know?
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. We're kind of glad we have a play-in game against another bottom 4 team because we don't feel like we are a bottom 4 team, even though our record says it. I mean, we started slow, but the games that we've lost in the second half of the season have been against really good teams, and they've been games that we could have won. They were really anybody's game. So, yeah, and I mean, the play-in game is going to help with confidence a lot. And I think I tweeted, it was like when you or I last year, they played Oklahoma. And I was celebrating the Oklahoma win, but knowing that a couple days I'd wake up, put on my URI jersey, and watch them get smacked by Duke.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just Lob's a great team, but I think with the Bullworms, I mean, they've looked better in the second half too. It's not just us.
I was gonna say the first time you guys played, they did have Matt Barber, but I think it might have been one of his first few games playing. in the league, so I don't know if he's really comfortable yet as he is now. Because over the past 2 weeks, he's looked very comfortable in carrying the Bullworms, and he's taken on that role and just said, you know what, if we're going to be in these games, it's going to be because of me. And I like that mentality that he has. And I think if you're the Bullworms and you get like 35 to 40 out of him, which he pretty much can do,
he will. He's done it.
You throw at it, what you throw at him, doesn't really matter. You get 35 to 40 from him. You get good shooting from Evan Mace. I know has been able to shoot the ball. Justin Simmons is a pretty good shooter, and then some of the other guards that they have, you get some decent shooting out of them. And then you just get Aaron Morrell in there protecting the paint. Really, you give yourself a chance in this game. I don't know if they pull it off, but I think that this game has potential to be close because the Bullworms, I think, feel like they can win this game, and Matt Barber's going to take them as far as he needs to. You know?
The one weakness I really see with the Bullworms, aside from Barber, he's probably one of the better scorers in the league. I mean, he's doing it with no one around him and doing 30-something a game. If he was there all season, I'd be saying he is an MVP candidate along with John Kutu, but that's a different story, and we're not talking about that today because I will go on for 45 minutes. But I do see their weakness is their speed. I mean, besides Barber, no one can really get up and down the court and run the fast break 10 plays in a row like some teams in this league like to do. And it's a 4-on-4, so it's really spread out. I mean, you can put big bodies in the paint, but eventually they got to go back the other way and then back the other way and then back the other way and back the other way again. And we really don't have many big bodies. So, I mean, if they can pack the paint on us, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, and the one thing that benefits you guys is that if you can push the pace on them, then do it because they never really have more than 5 or 6 guys show up. So, and you guys always have 9 guys. So you push the pace, you have fresh legs always coming in. It's going to help. It's going to get you guys those transition points that'll pretty much blow this open if you think you can. And I think you guys can.
Yeah, and the last time we played him, it was an 8-point game. Barber had, I want to say, like 31, and our backcourt played really well in the defensive half court, like getting steals, stuff like that. So it should be a good game. Granted, it was a single-digit game the last time, but
Oh, you guys won by 19. I'm looking at it now.
19?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
80-61.
Yo, you're right. You're right. For some reason, I thought it was like 81-73.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I have a feeling we have
spread on this one.
I'd put the spread at 15, maybe
Really?
12 and a half actually.
I was gonna say like 8.5.
Really?
So I think from a like Vegas perspective, you're like it could be a blowout, but that 8.5 points you're giving the Bullworms might be attractive to people, you know?
Yeah.
So I think there's potential for this game to be close. And I think that I don't know. I think the Bullworms, I don't think they pull it off, but I think that they could give you guys a late game scenario where you guys have to close out.
Yeah, I agree. And
we
get a little tired late in the game, and that kind of hurts us. And we like to keep the guys in because they run really well together. And when it matters, a lot of the times we've been coming back. So that's why closing out has been tough because the second half we've basically been running with the same group. But it should be an interesting playoffs. And then I don't think that Lob City matchup is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but whoever wins that game is definitely losing to Lob.
I like to set Lob City as, and I probably used this before, as it's like a class that gets scaled. So like if we lose by 20, we kind of tied them and we go home happy. So I'm looking forward to see how we measure up because we have been, their confidence is through the roof. You can see it on Twitter and everything. They've been talking up a storm. So I kind of want to see how we do match up with Lob City and how our best guys go against their best guys. And I think it should be a fun game. And it's always fun. They're a great group of guys, Lob City.
Yeah.
So when they blow you out, they're not gonna make you hate them. I like them.
Yeah.
And so that'll bring us to the quarters.
Yep.
The rest of the seeding goes, you got Lob City at 1, Halfway Crooks at 2, Boom Shakalaka at 3.
Yep. Swish at 4.
Swish at 4, Sky at 5, the Werewolves at 6. So you guys have another first round playoff matchup, or second round if you count the playing games as round 1. Another second round playoff matchup against Boom Shakalaka, this time with Brandon Sweeney, unlike last year, but you guys also have Dave Campbell. How are you looking at that one?
I think it's going to be very similar to last year because they had Stitchell, and he was a huge matchup issue for us. I played him, but he even with me playing him, he can still put up 30. I think the same thing goes for Sweeney. I'll play Sweeney, and he's definitely a different player that I have to play in terms like the way
Yep.
you play him is a lot different than we play Stitchell. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. I like playing against those guys, and I mean we can't let Belleville kill us because he had a good game against us last year.
And that's the matchup issue because you usually take the number one scorer, the Stitchell, the Sweeney, and then Gino goes on Lucas, and you can't really throw Connor on Belleville.
I think we can throw Dave on Belleville.
Yes, you have Dave. Is he going to start finally?
Yeah, probably.
Interesting.
It's playoffs. It's playoffs. we're not messing around no more. But yeah, I mean we're definitely playing to win, and obviously I think the rotation will work a little bit differently, and everyone knows that we have Dave now, so I think we have to play a little bit differently, play it smarter, and instead of instead of just swapping bench for starters, stuff like that, we're filtering guys in off the bench and getting them minutes like that.
Okay, I like it. I like the game plan. So their matchup now with Brandon Sweeney on the team, they have an extra guy. They don't really need. I mean, Nate Volatile is a great player.
He's a great athlete.
He's a great athlete. They have a guy that can spread the floor now, a guy that can take the jumper and drive. I mean, Volatile can drive and dunk on probably anyone in the league too, but Sweeney adds that stretch big area. You're now playing with two bigs on the floor if they decide to start Sweeney and D'Amico, and you run out Lucas, Belleville, Sweeney, D'Amico. If Cole shows up, I haven't seen him.
Yeah, who knows? That's also a wild card. They could convince him to come back. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, we have the pieces to be ready to play him, and I hope it's a close game. If we lose, I hope it's a close game. If we win, I hope it's a blowout. Because obviously, I'd rather not have it be a close game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, who knows? Last year we came out against Boom. Jared Ganser hit 3 threes in the first quarter against us, got us all hyped up. We need someone like that to step in and just kind of get us going, and then I think we'll all settle down and be ready to play this game.
Yeah, and when the pace settles in, I think it's going to be a really good back and forth game. It just depends on who goes on that run, whose pieces get hot at the right time together.
Yeah, and when we played him in the regular season, it was a close game for 3 quarters, and then Lucas couldn't.
Oh yeah, that was unreal. And you played him at the beginning of the year too.
Yeah.
So you know how teams in this league, even though you guys have been playing for 4 years, you see how teams in this league grow throughout the course of a season.
Yeah.
And that'll bring us to the next quarterfinal matchup that is already locked in, and then we'll send you guys home so you don't have to look at us or listen to us or whatever anymore. We have the Swish Kebabs and the Skyhookers. Now, the Skyhookers have size. That's no question. But I think Swish, with the way their size can handle the ball and the way their size can be used, I mean, Dell's a big. Randy's kind of a big. Yeah. Greg's a better big than Chase. I think Swish has this advantage any day. I think it's really not a 4-5.
Yeah, because I think Swish lost halfway, and then ended up in the 4 matchup, which is kind of surprising because I thought they would have ended up in the 3.
Yeah, and they forfeited to Boom.
Yeah, they had a forfeit to Boom. That really threw everything off for them. But I think, like you said, I think they have the size advantage, and I think there's no real good matchup they have for Randy Butler and Dell Butler. They have 2 defenders to put on both of them. And then after that, you have to worry about Greg Bell still. So I'm not sure how the Skyhookers are going to play this one, but who knows? I mean, Brandon O'Donnell hasn't really had one of those O'Donnell games that we're used to seeing where he has like 35 points. So maybe he breaks out and they have a chance, but I think the Swish Kebabs take this one by like 15. Yeah,
and the way I see the Skyhookers staying in it is their 3-point shooting. They have Zach Charette who came out and hit like 6 in a row against the Duyes boys against us, and when you do that, it's just a huge swing in such a short time that it's hard to recover from. So I look for them to get hot there from 3 and then try to work it into Chase Almond after they draw the Swish Kebabs up.
Yeah.
But if you can't get hot from 3, that really ruins the whole game plan.
Yeah, I'm going to try and find what happened the first time they played.
I think it was close because it was before Swish added Randy or Dell. I don't know. Because Dell came before Randy.
Oh, yeah. Swish won by 6.
67-61, I think.
58-52.
58-52. I am so off.
O'Donnell had 23. Elman had 12. Zach Ward had 10. Yeah, they had Barbosa, Bill Butler, Greg Bell, and Cody Platt. So they pretty much had their main pieces except for Randy. I think Randy does make a difference though in this game, especially because I don't really find a good defender the Skyhookers can put on Randy.
And you had Randy, and you're not having Cody Platt take 19 shots, and Barbosa isn't taking 16 shots. Everybody's shots are kind of moderated. You're taking better shots as a team.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole different Swish Kebabs team.
Yep.
And then how does that work? They go play
Lob.
They go play Lob. The winner of Lob Duyes, Brian.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Lob Duyes worms.
Yeah, you're right. I'm out of water. Yeah, so I see, and then halfway would get
the winner.
The winner of Blazers. The winner of that one would play the winner of you guys.
Yeah.
Correct? All right. And then we get the semis all set, the finals all set. It's going to be a ride. I think these playoffs are going to be fun. The last couple of years, we knew the outcome basically already, where it was Lob and boom. Now I think it's open at the 2 spot.
Yeah, I also think Lob has a much tougher second round match than they ever had before.
Yeah.
Playing Swish potentially in the second round, that's definitely not an easy game for them.
And it's not the same Swish that they played in the second round a couple of years ago when Cody hit 14 threes.
Yeah.
It's a completely different team, and I think it's going to be a fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So that'll do it for our playoff preview. We will check back with you next week and give you the first round recap and preview everything from there. Thank you for sticking with us today, and build your legacy. Have a good one, guys.